Have a seat. Name?
I'm Andrei Damane.
Age?
29.
Country of origin?
I am South African.
My question for you is, what's the one thing you need to detach from in order to open up space to receive?
I need to detach from being broke in order for me to receive money. No, in all seriousness. What I need to detach from is a sense of, I want to say inferiority. However, I don't know if I personally feel like I'm inferior. I feel like what it is that I am not achieving at the clip that I believe that I am capable of achieving. And so I need to detach from a feeling of underperformance in order for me to receive, as the kids say these days, my roses. I think what happens, particularly with a lot of very creative and talented people, if I can say it that way, is they they tend to maybe like have a sort of lack of confidence or a belief of not being good enough because they're not receiving the sort of recognition that they believe they deserve. And it's tough. It sounds quite egotistical, I suppose, but it's a very important thing. And when you think about it, it kind of is universal. It's in all fields. Obviously, you want to be rewarded for the work that you do and the good work that you do. But as a creative person, and you might have some sort of philosophical thing about why you are going through this creative process as a release, as a medium, whatever the case may be, and it might be therapeutic and cathartic in some way, which it is oftentimes. But at the same time, there is an egotistical level to it, and you do things for the sake of being recognized for the work that you're doing.
How do you define recognition? What does that mean to you?
I define recognition as being visible and being seen. So it's interesting. I mean, you can look at some of the real sort of mavericks in pop culture. A good example might be someone like Kanye West. And obviously he's visible and he's recognized in things, but he's also very polarizing. And in a way, recognition doesn't necessarily need to be positive reinforcement or positive commentary. It can just be the fact that people are talking about you. It means that you are shifting some sort of opinion and some sort of mindset, and you are sort of part of the zeitgeist of change, of culture, in the form of Kanye, right? For example. So that is what recognition is for me. It's not getting kudos per se. It's about somebody actually considering what I'm doing and having an opinion on it. That's recognition.
Have you continued this journey without getting the recognition that you think you deserve?
I've been continuing this journey of lack of recognition, if you're going to call it that, by just general reinforcement, positive reinforcement of myself and my skills. And also what I do a lot is I revisit the things that I've done. Especially when I'm feeling a lack of confidence, or I'm feeling as though I'm hitting a bit of an emotional or a creative limitation or block, or feeling as though, the things that I have done are not resonating with others the way that I thought they would or believe they should. Just revisiting them and then reminding myself of what I've done and the fact that, and feeling a sense of pride about the fact that, there have been achievements that have been had. I think that's been what my go-to thing. Also, trying to detach my feeling of self-worth from what might be perceived as like socially accepted or socially expected measures of self-worth. An example might be, detaching my milestones from those of my peers. So not wanting to see somebody who's maybe become a runaway success and realizing that, sure, fine, I might not be a runaway success, an overnight sensation, whatever the case may be. But what I do have is I do have a very, very committed and a loyal, circle of people that do recognize what I'm doing, and understanding that that is enough, because, sometimes runaway success could be very fleeting, whereas those that appreciate you from a niche perspective are those that will sort of stand the test of time.
When do you feel the most seen?
Wow, that's actually a great question. When do I feel the most seen? I feel seen in environments where I know and feel as though I can be unapologetically myself, without any sort of punitive judgment attached to it. So in the form of like friendships and things, feeling seen is knowing that I can be exactly myself, my most vulnerable self, my most confident self, my most emotional self, without having to feel like I need to limit limit a part of me, right? And then from a professional and artistic perspective, feeling seen is knowing that I can perform a certain way, create a certain way, imagine a certain thing without feeling as though there's some sort of weird restrictions.
So earlier you spoke about recognition.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time somebody's reaction surprised you about your work? And how did that feel?
So that's a great question again. I'm surprised by people's reactions to my work all the time. I have this running thing of just being shocked that people even bother to listen or bother to recognize. It's so strange because I put the stuff out for the purpose of other people to enjoy and to interpret and to reflect from the art that I make and from the creations that I make. So the two things that surprised me the most is I was on Idols 10 years ago. I don't know, a long ass time. Can I swear? Okay. I was on Idols a long ass time ago. And I was at a casting maybe 2 weeks back. By the way, when I was on Idols, I was a scrawny little guy with a big afro, and I didn't have this sort of level of self-realization and actualization and understanding and identity that I have now. And I was on Idols. I sang a song of mine, whatever. And every few months, I get stopped, say like on the train or whatever. And I was at a casting 3 weeks back, and I was sitting opposite somebody who was waiting to go into the casting hall, and they're like, "Aren't you that guy from Idols? Like not like now, like a while back, like 8 years or 10 years or whatever." I'm like, "Well, first of all, I'm wearing a mask. Second of all, I don't have any hair. Wow, that is surprising that I made such an impression on somebody all that time ago that many years later, something in the back of their memory is triggered and they're like, you're that guy. That's really, really surprising. And another time where I was wonderfully surprised is being stopped on the train, coming out of the Gau train in Sandton. And this girl who was up on the escalator ahead of me just kept looking back. And she's like, are you Andrei Damane? I'm like, well, yes. How do you know each other? And she's like, oh my God, I love you. My sister played your song while she was walking down the aisle at a wedding 2 weeks back, and I've been playing it over and over. That is just incredible. That feels amazing. That I'm able to touch people that I don't know. And I think it'll always be incredible, no matter how big or small my career ends up being. Let me give you the exclusive. You heard it first here on the Cultural Hybrid Portraits. So this song is called Fun. I speak in poetry. It's just something that I do. Every sentence is a work of art. Prose and soliloquy is how my world comes into view. Let's make that clear before I start. I won't swallow my words or swallow my pride. I'm not scared to get burned or to go down. Try and should something I say keep you up at night. No, I can't lie. We can't tell what could go wrong till we've given us a solid try. Everything I've ever won has come by just biding my time. So should it end and our time is through, there'll be memories shared of me and you. So it ends when it's said and done, we would have had fun.